The storm hit at about 27 minutes after 8 o'clock that morning without any warning whatsoever, so there was literally no way to prepare for it. The only thought we had given to the wind that morning was taking the flag down for fear that it would cause damage to the flagpole, because all that we knew is that there were going to be high winds. It lasted for about 90 seconds as best we can tell, and then it was over. And in that 90 seconds there was extraordinary destruction on this campus. It was the worst storm Berry had ever suffered through. We lost on the main campus over 1,000 trees. Many of them are large monarch oaks and other hardwoods that had provided a shade canopy to the campus. So the immediate aftermath was the place was a total mess. We lost power, so we were in the middle of exams dealing without power. We had students taking exams with daylight, sort of the old-fashioned way, I suppose. And so the immediate aftermath was the need to get things back to normal as quickly as possible. Within about 2 weeks we were to have graduation, and the typical place for graduation at Berry for a number of years has been on the lawn of the main campus, and that appeared to be an impossibility, because that is where the largest trees, including the so-called graduation oak, had fallen, and it was a total mess. Miraculously, that area was cleaned up, and we were able to have graduation. The holes were filled, sod was placed where the trees had once been, and if one hadn't known how beautifully shaded it had been before, you would never have known. We were very, very fortunate that day in a number of respects. First of all, the time it hit was a time when students were in class, at breakfast, perhaps a few were still in bed, and so there were not a lot of students out and about. It was preceded by rain, and that rain probably drove some students inside and out of harm's way. So the timing was good. We had not a single injury as a result of that storm. The one structure we lost, which was in the log cabin area, Dorothy Cottage, which was a cabin built in 1912, so it was 99 years old. That cabin structure had been used for overflow housing of students until that semester, so it was empty. Had students been in there, we very well could be looking at loss of life. As it was, not anyone was hurt. And the other cottage that was damaged, which was Julia, which is a log cabin structure built in 1914, was sliced like a stick of butter with two massive pine trees.
Oh, wow.
And fortunately, where the trees landed, no one was hurt, but it was in very bad shape and is still being repaired. We're restoring that cabin, improving it considerably, and bringing it back online as student housing. It is amazing how quickly the campus was cleared with that many trees. We cleared the most visible areas first. There are still areas today where we have some clearing to do, and but that's not really on the main campus anymore. Most of what's been cleared up, remaining to be cleared up, is way out in the woods. We got them. We sold as much as we could to the vendors we could, at the highest price we could. So we suffered damages, obviously, well into the 7 figures from this disaster, both to buildings as well as in other ways. Some of the trees we could sell to purchasers, others we couldn't. So we sold it as we could. Some would have gone for pulp, some would have been good enough still for lumber, and so forth. Berry has a wide variety of lumber on our property, and we sell to a wide variety of vendors, so we were able to recoup some of those losses. But, you know, at the end of the day, we would have been better off not losing those trees and having to sell that lumber when we did. We're going to be able to do what hasn't been done here since the days of Martha Berry. We're going to be able to reimagine parts of this campus, because we've been given a blank slate on which to draw, to ourselves fill that in to make it a beautiful place that generations will enjoy henceforth. I think when something like this hits, one of the first things you think of is, oh my goodness, how lovely it was before, how beautiful it was before. So I think all of us involved gain a new appreciation for really how spectacular a place we have here. I think another thing we learned is how many trees we have. When you can lose 1,100 trees, and still look as beautiful and as tree covered and as verdant as we do. It's a pretty amazing place.